Have you ever stopped and listened to the stories and the wisdoms that your elders had? I've been lucky enough to grow up knowing both sets of my grandparents and even a few of my great grandparents. And the knowledge and their experiences still shape my life today. Hi, I'm Tim, and welcome to my channel, where I share my personal journey of retirement and the problems that I face and try to conquer along the way. Now, when I was younger, I listened, not as much as I wish I would have. Now, having both sets of grandparents, I did learn a lot from my grandmothers, but I tended to gravitate a little bit more, of course, to my grandfathers. Growing up, I really didn't realize how valuable it was to get the knowledge of your elders. So here I am at 58, and I've learned that lesson. Although I did, learn some things from them, I don't want to miss out on that. My father and I, we make it a point, maybe once a week, to go out to dinner with each other. And it's funny, every time, we go out, and I've known this person 58 years, I'm still learning new little bits and pieces of information. When I was younger, probably in my 20s, you think you're pretty much invincible. And I wish I had listened more at that time. But I think in my 30s, I really started asking questions. And I found out some interesting things. Growing up, I knew one of my grandfathers, he was poor during the Depression. And I learned about a lot of his struggles that he had. And today I use, some of that wisdom to help me. My other grandfather, back in I think it was the late 20s, early 30s, he took a road trip from Indiana to California. Now you're thinking, well, heck, that's not a big deal. People do that all the time. Well, back then, it was an expedition. There wasn't a days in every 15, 20 miles. They had to camp alongside the road. And I don't know how long it took them to get out there. It was him and his friends. But it was a major journey. And I also found out that he had a great love that he met out there, and something happened, and he had to leave her back there and come back to Indiana. And that's a really interesting story I would like to find out a little bit more about from my father. I also have an uncle that I listened to a little bit. He was a really, really good with the stock market. And, of course, it's changed a lot now, but he made a lot of money. And the one thing I remember from him telling me is that you never lose in the stock market unless you sell. And that goes through my head. I do a little crypto, things like that, but, meaning that you're not going to lose your money until you sell. You sell, low, you're going to lose money. But he played the long game, and it worked out really well for him. And when I look back, I wish I would have asked so many more questions than I did, because they're just a wealth of knowledge that they have accumulated their whole lives. I did listen enough to get a lot of tips and pointers on life that has helped me along, quite a bit. So this video is kind of aimed towards a younger generation. I hope you listen to me. Now, if you're 70, 80 years old, give advice to someone younger that is willing to listen. Don't hang on to that knowledge. It could really help them out. There's a reason you spent all your life making these mistakes and gaining this type of knowledge. Share it. I hope this video gave you some insight on asking some questions. It really is very important to do that. I treasure the time that I spend with my father. I spent a lot of time with my mother also. Now she has moved out to California, and I don't see her daily like I used to, but I do talk to her on the phone. And it doesn't even have to be a family member. You know, just if you see an older gentleman sitting on a porch, carving a little piece of wood with his pocket knife, you know that he's been through some stuff, and he has some good advice for you. So I encourage you to ask the questions, whether it's a relative or just an older person that you might know from work, that you come across in your life. Please leave a comment if you got some great wisdom from an older person, whether it be your relative or someone you just run across in your day-to-day life. Please hit subscribe, hit like. Please follow us for upcoming videos. And I say we because my wife is also involved with this channel. Thank you very much.